Ja, ich glaube, es geht hier nicht, weil die Sachen im Dorf
Aber ich glaube, ich weiß, mein Mama meint was. Immer der macht.
Okay. So we will talk about biomass today, and firstly I will briefly define biomass as a renewable energy source, and then Aurelius is going to continue by listing different types of biomass and shortly explaining the procedure of biomass. Then Torben and Samuel will talk about the disadvantages and advantages, and then all the countries will briefly present their future prospects. So the definition is that biomass is the general term of all non-fossilized biological materials obtained from living or recently living organisms. And that basically means that all waste produced by nature can be used to create energy. And biomass actually also was the first energy source mankind used, because we figured out how to use fire, and then we burned wood in order to gain thermal energy. And still today 40%, and you have to imagine that 40% of the world population's household still cook with fire, or like at least thermal energy created from fire. But the only problem if you burn wood is that like yearly 2 million people die from that. So one has to figure out ways to use biomass more efficiently in order to create renewable energy.
So here we can see the 5 different types more detailedly. So for example, wood, then the garbage, and when we use the garbage, the biomass is this whole procedure is more sustainable, and then also crops, alcohol fuels, and landfill gas. And yeah, as we all know, the goal is to produce electricity. So this is a biomass procedure, but don't worry, I won't explain it to you because we put it on a more understandable basis. So first of all, we put all biomass, so organic waste or plants, and burn it, and then out of this, so there are different types. It also can be transformed to fluid or gaseous or solid fuel, and this fuel is used to burn. And out of this fire, we gain thermal energy, and then we transforming the thermal energy to mechanical energy. And finally, after all these 4 steps, we have the electrical energy, and we can use this electricity for our households or for the industry.
So now we come to the advantages of biomass and using biomass. The first one is that it is less expensive than fossil fuels. So you don't need any oil drills or gas pipelines, but you're able to generate higher profits from lower output. Yeah, furthermore, the materials you use are widely available. So you have basically infinite organic materials, since our society consistently produces waste and garbage. And to add to that, it is also carbon neutral, which means that it releases the same amount of carbon into the atmosphere as was absorbed in the course of the life cycle, because biomass fuels are a natural part of the photosynthesis. And it also reduces the over-reliance of fossil fuels, which is good because fossil fuels are only limited in their supply, and they also have very bad environmental effects. And by that, you also prevent environmental problems.
Okay, so to create biomass energy, it needs a lot of space. So a lot of space is required to build or to grow the main components. So that's a problem because we all know that the world population is growing faster and faster, and we need a lot of space to feed all the people. So if you use the agricultural land to make biomass energy, we've got a problem to feed all the people because we cannot use it for food production. And also it's not entirely efficient because one of the products is ethanol, and there are more efficient fuels than ethanol. As Aurelio said, we burn all the biomass, and that's not good because we all know that if you burn something, you create pollution. So biomass energy is not 100% clean. But it relies heavily on natural materials, so it's renewable. But on the other hand, as I mentioned, we need a lot of space to grow it, and we cannot use it for food production if we use it for biomass energy. So we have to figure out what is more important, or we can use like waste or garbage. Then it's okay. But if you use if you produce it only for biomass energy, we've got a problem with food production. But let's talk about the future.
Talking about future prospects, Portugal doesn't use biomass energy, but as agriculture is the biggest sector in our country, which produces a lot of waste, we can build power plants and take advantage of that waste.
Okay. Italy, we don't use a lot of biomass energy because we produce a lot of waste from food production, and for this post too, we need to build a new power plants.
Yeah, future prospects. No, in Norway, Norway doesn't use a lot of biomass energy, considering the fact that over 94% of the energy we produce is hydro energy, so we don't actually need biomass energy.
Now we come to Germany. So Germany doesn't use a lot of biomass energy too, but we have got a big agriculture sector in Germany. So we can use the agricultural waste products to create biomass energy, but we have to build the power plants.
So, biomass energy in Turkey, we use the biomass energy too much. We have got 58 power plants in Turkey. Istanbul is the city with the biggest garbage biogas energy in Europe. Biogas is the major energy source in Turkey. We are supporting the other countries.
Vielen Dank. Herzlichen Dank.